I won't follow the God of Moses and Abraham and whoever along the Mideast monotheistic religions, because frankly, that God is a misogynistic sadist. Yes, he is. How do I come to this conclusion, you ask? Well, that's quite simple. I'm not going to quote the Quran because I don't know the Quran well enough, and its practitioners have demonstrated to me clearly that there are enough ambiguous verses in that book that justifies them committing murder in the name of their God. So, Genesis, I believe it's 23. God created man. He created them, he and she, at the same time. That was, of course, edited out in the Christian Bible. Why, I don't know, because her name was Lilith. If you explore the Torah, you'd find that out. So, Lilith was kicked out of Eden because she wasn't subservient to Adam. God said, poof, off you go. You're not subservient to Adam. Then he created Eve. Now, I firmly believe that Adam was the one who ate the apple first. Eve was happy, content, subservient to Adam. When Adam and God said, don't eat of this tree, she would have been a good little slave and said, yes, sir, I won't do that. Adam ate it, got Eve to eat it, and then said to God, she did it, it's her fault. And God, being the misogynist that he is, said, yep, that's the truth. Even though he's omniscient and knows better. And God set his creations up to fail anyway. I mean, are you saying that someone that's omniscient and omnipotent couldn't protect the tree of life from being eaten by his creations? So, poof, off they go, kicked out of Eden. Oh, and God laid the punishment on Eve. The pains from your birth, from birthing a child, shall be sevenfold. Not that she had anything to compare it to at that point in time, having not given birth to anything. But God wasn't content with that. So every female mammal experiences pain when they give birth. Think it's not true? You ever listen to the domestic cat when it's giving birth? How about the dog? Cow? Horse? Are they all silent and happy? Think about it. So, off we go from there. Cain and Abel. Good old Cain and Abel. Got to get to them, don't we? Cain and Abel. Abel was a shepherd. His flocks wandered. He sat down. He watched them. Cain busted his butt being a farmer. Now, apologists for God will say, well, Cain didn't offer his best to God. That's why his offering was rejected. And Abel's was accepted because he gave his best. I say, wrong answer. God accepted Abel's offering because it was of blood and included pain and suffering. Don't think that's true? Then why is it later on that all sacrifices to atone for your sins have to be of blood? Rams, oxen, doves, this, that, and the other thing. All require blood and burnt offerings. Why wasn't it specified that the best you can do and give unto God to atone for your sins is enough? It had to be blood. So, yeah, God gets off on blood suffering and he enjoys it. How many cities did God destroy every man, woman, and child because they were sinners. Children now, including babies, were sinners, and they had to die. What can a baby do in sin? I guess be born. Please. You want further proof that God is a sadist? Let's look at the story of Moses. Let my people go, cries Moses. And Pharaoh had his heart hardened by God, and he said no. How many times? Pharaoh's the one who says, go, you can go. But God said, no, I'm not done torturing you yet. And your people, who can't tell them they can go. So I'm going to inflict plagues on you until I think you've had enough, which ended with what? The firstborn of everybody in the land whose doors were not painted with lamb's blood had to die. Why? Why did it go that far? Because God hardened Pharaoh's heart. God took away a free will from somebody so he could inflict more pain, misery, and suffering on other people. And you wonder why I won't follow the God of Moses and Abraham. So, then there's Job. Remember Job? The poor schmuck. Satan says they can get him to turn. God, being omniscient, knows it'll never happen. But one of his faithful, he subjects to every possible torture possible. I'm redundant in that, but tough shit. And he beats the hell out of this guy. And for what? To prove to Satan what God already knew? That's just, again, sadism. Let's look at Abraham. You remember good old Abe? God said, sacrifice your son to me. Abraham didn't know God was going to spirit him away. But I'll bet you God got off on the pain and suffering and the self-torture this man put himself through to comply with the will of God. And you don't even want to go into the Jews being the chosen people of God. How those people have suffered is unreal. 2,000 years of persecution, murder, torture, suffering. There's only 5 million or 6 million or so left in the world. Chosen for what? To be victims? Is this what the God of Moses and Abraham wants? To have people to be victims? Please. There you got it. My reasons why I'll never follow the God of Moses and Abraham. He's a sick, sadistic, misogynistic, worthless piece of crap. And nothing will convince me different. Especially its practitioners who go off killing and raping in the name of their God. My choice, when my life ends and I stand before the Supreme Being, by whatever name you choose to call it, if I'm wrong, I will stand there and accept responsibility for my actions. And if I get the chance, and it happens to be Allah or Yahweh or whatever you choose to call him, I'll tell him he's a sadistic fuck. And he gets off on this. Send me to hell because I don't want to be near you. You're beneath humanity. So, hostile day, have an adequate day.